see a lot of the Catholic influencers recommending ways that we can honor Lent and engage in Lent, and all of them are wonderful, and I'm grateful for them, because in truth, I'm an Advent girl. Lent is not necessarily a season that my heart longs for, and yet I know that's precisely why I need it. But when I think about the original influencer, Lenten influencer in my life, it's my dad. It was my dad. He encouraged us as a family to engage in a Lenten practice every Lent of attending daily Mass at St. James Elementary School and Parish, where he and my mother went, and my siblings and I all went. So for Lent, during the week, we would go to Mass all as a family, and it was a really significant commitment, I think, as kids, because we could hear everybody playing in the schoolyard all around us while a core group of families were there participating in daily Mass. And the special invitation would come from my dad on Saturday morning, when he would say, in his very kind way, "You don't have to, but it would be very good." And as the oldest child, and as one who clearly had a vocation that was brewing, I really appreciated that invitation, and so I was the one that would go with him on Saturday mornings to the 8 a.m. Mass. The really beautiful thing about our parish community, and this would have been in the 1980s, is that our pastor, Monsignor Peter Cruz, was wrestling with throat cancer. So he lost his voice at one point because he had to have major surgery. And he gradually, over the years, as I proceeded through grade school, we kind of journeyed with him in his recovery to reclaim his voice. And at first he used a machine, and as kids we would joke that he sounded like something out of Star Wars, the original Star Wars, in the 1980s. But Monsignor Cruz made this tremendous effort every day to say liturgy, to say Mass, to offer the Eucharist for his people. And gradually he was able to, was trained to sort of force air over vocal cords that he didn't really have, and sort of offer this sort of guttural sound in offering liturgy. And so you can imagine, as kids, daily Mass was really a challenge during Lent, because Monsignor Cruz could only go so fast in offering his fullest self to us in the Eucharist. And granted, maybe my siblings and I would exchange glances as to where we were in the sequence of the Mass when we would hear the bell ring in the schoolyard, right? Everybody else the morning time together and go in. So we'd be like, are we at the Eucharistic prayer? Where are we? Because at first Monsignor was not able to even give homilies, but gradually he did give homilies. So it was a beautiful experience as I look back on it. And this is the first Lent without my dad. And as I look back on the gift of that invitation that he, really extended to us as a family, and that time that I had with him on Saturdays with Monsignor Cruz, I think there's some important lessons that I learned about Lent in that time. I think one is that I learned about being uncomfortable with a slow pace. Going slow. Sometimes we want to rush, sometimes we want to get to the next thing, we want to move on. And so Lent is truly, I think, about not only slowing down, but getting uncomfortable with a pace that feels like it's not necessarily meeting the urgency of the time. I think that it also cultivated in me a particular kind of presence, a particular kind of awareness But I definitely learned that it's easier to respond to that call and hear that call, especially when it's voiced in a way that is actually uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to the ear as kids. When it's uncomfortable, but when we receive it in a community, it actually makes it easier to respond to that call. So while social concerns were not front and center in those masses and in that really beautiful little bubble, so beautiful that I grew up in, the way that our pastor literally pressed on to ensure the gospel and the Eucharist was something that our community had, prepared me for the pressing on that I'm attempting to do with lots of different people and a number of people right here in this room in trying to respond to the needs of the people of God right now. So I think my takeaway here is that Lent truly is a collective experience. And it's something that we help each other do by showing up for each other and resisting the urgency to rush and the urgency to move past the discomfort and to be present in it and notice the way Jesus is doing that in his own final days, slowing down the pace. You can almost imagine him lingering and savoring the interactions he's having with the people he loves. You can almost hear him in a Monsignor Cruz way, being very deliberate with every word he offers. And then we can just live into the invitation that Lent offers us. You don't have to, but it would be